Let's go Warriors. Let's go Warriors. My camera is blurry once again. Warriors. Good morning, guys. So last night, my husband and I and my sister and brother-in-law and mom, we had the wonderful opportunity. We got an invitation to go to game 4 of the Warriors versus Timberwolves series of the NBA playoffs in San Francisco. And we got the invitation on Sunday, and we had to make a decision if we were going the following Monday evening. It was a quick decision, and I wasn't sure if I was gonna go because your girl's symptomatic. And I was like, here's the thing about this mind-body journey. Let me just say, okay, while on this journey, over 3 years now of healing from chronic illness, chronic symptoms through the mind-body approach, knowing that, right, that these symptoms are not dangerous. There's a lot of them, but it's because all what's happening is that I have a hypersensitive nervous system due to whatever trauma, life stressors, personality traits, whatever. This is all a la Dr. Sarno, CFS recovery, Dan Buglio, like all the stuff, right? So if you're new to my channel, hi, my name is Leanne, and this is what I talk about. I've been documenting this recovery journey. So all that to say, I have traveled in the last 3 years. I have traveled, I have been on planes, I have been on road trips, did my sister's wedding where we had to perform, and it was like a very extensive, laborious day. Then we went to Disneyland. So I've done all those things. And they're all wins and they're all triumphs and everything. But guys, the fear is still there because the symptoms are still there for good reason. Like, I totally get it. I've had to make a lot of adjustments in my personal life. Well, first within myself, obviously, like trying to figure out why I react so sensitively and so, you know, to different things. I had to like get my relationships in check. I had to like start figuring out what it is I actually like. Okay, all of that to say. So the fear was still there. The symptoms are still there. And I was like, I don't feel like going. I kind of don't. To be honest, I was like, I don't know if it's going to be worth it if I'm going to be symptomatic. You know, I don't know if I'm going to be able to enjoy it because, like I said, I have gone to all these other things and I've traveled and done events and all these things. But sometimes, like, the symptoms are so unbearable that you can't, you're trying to enjoy it, but you really can't. I'm just being honest. So I was kind of feeling like that. But I was like, no, these are free tickets. I have family from Hawaii that flew in to watch the 2 games here in San Francisco, and they had extra tickets. So they were like, hey, come take these tickets. So I was like, I had to make the decision. Do I want to go or not? And honestly, I was like, dude, this is the playoffs. My family's in town. Like, just freaking go. And I was scared. I was scared because the rumination starts, right? Even though I'm so used to this, like, this is not new. But the rumination starts, the OCD looping thoughts start, you know, the whole like, well, if this happens, like if I faint or if I, you know, like whatever, right? All the thoughts come, just being honest. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go anyway. Whatever. And so obviously I knew this was gonna happen. Yesterday, the game was last night. Yesterday, prior to the game, obviously I was symptomatic, but I knew what was happening. I'm sure it was anxiety, whatever, right? Who knows? At this point, right, we know. You don't even try to figure out what your brain is doing. You don't even try to figure out what the symptoms are doing. You just allow it. So that is what I did. I just went about my day as best as possible. But yeah, super symptomatic. Oh well, whatever. I listened to a few on Mindful Gardener's channel. If you don't follow the Mindful Gardener account with Helmet, highly recommend you do. Honestly, I have been in this space for a long time. I've tried different programs, different things, and honestly, I don't know if it's a timing thing, but Helmet's channel, the Mindful Gardener, with assistance from Sam, has been so incredibly helpful, and I'll tell you why. They've been posting meditations from Sam, and their whole thing is they're all about just allowing. Allow whatever's there, because that's a skill. right? Like when you live your whole life, especially if it's a reaction to trauma, there's a sense of like control. That's why we get really anal about things, right? Or we overthink, or our mind gets away from us because we just are trying to stay safe. That's our way of staying safe. So we're so used to overthinking and overanalyzing and, thinking of all the scenarios so that we can figure out how to control it. But this whole journey of recovering from chronic symptoms through a mind-body approach is all about letting go of control. It's all about trusting and surrendering to what is, as uncomfortable as it is. So I did a few of Sam's meditations, and it was really, it is a skill to learn how to allow, especially if you've tried to be a controller your whole life, trying to remain safe. But the whole point of safety is allowing. So it was really helpful. Did them. And then we dropped the kids off to my in-laws, and then we started heading down to the city, to San Francisco, which is about like 45-minute hour drive. And I was symptomatic all day. As we were approaching closer to the city, I noticed I started feeling really good. I was like, okay, this is interesting. I'm feeling great. What is happening? So then we get to the parking garage. We have to go meet my family from Hawaii for dinner before the game. And the whole time I'm like we're going down 5 flights of stairs. And I'm like, wait, why do I feel great? Like I feel amazing almost. Right? So then as we're walking to Chase Center, I'm like, wait, I feel like where are the symptoms? They're gone. Like, what? So I realized that I could just tell, just innately, I realized that my nervous system was happy and it felt safe for some reason. Not that I was controlling it, but just the symptoms were just starting to dissolve and move away. So I was like, what? So I started running across the street, like yelling, I'm free, like just acting like a fool. And then we got to Chase Center because that's the first time we've ever been to Chase Center. And it's amazing. It's beautiful, wonderful facility. We had dinner at a dim sum place with my family, and it was just like so nice to catch up with them again. And usually when I go to a restaurant, I am symptomatic. Like, I don't remember a time when I could like really just kind of relax and not be bothered. But yesterday, I don't know, my nervous system was like fine. And I had little sips of beer and liquor, and we got free tequila shots, and I took little sips of that. I was eating fine, and I noticed my legs were feeling better, and I was like, what the heck is going on? And I was just like so happy. I was so happy. And then I started to realize, like, oh my God, this is how I feel, like the old Leanne. Like I feel like the Leanne before she became a mom, carefree, hanging out with my family, just having a good time, having fun. And I was just like thinking, oh my God, are my kids making me sick? That's a joke, by the way. Obviously, I don't think they're making me sick, but I was like, am I? Well, so anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. But so then we did the game. Chase Center, walked all over the place, shopped in the stores, got food, walked up and down, the escalators and the stairs. And, and our seats were in the nosebleed section, so super high. And I was fine. Like, we could barely see the players. But, it's, if you've ever been to a stadium, like, it's loud, it's crazy loud, there's lights flashing everywhere, there's neon light, and we were way up, so, like, it looked like, even when we got up to our seats for the first time, my sister even was kind of having a little anxiety attack. She was like, oh my God, this is so high. And I was like, I'm fine. I am weirdly fine here. What is happening? And I'm looking down, and I could see how someone could feel like they're falling. I was waiting for the anxiety to kick up. I was waiting for sensations to kick up. But it was as if, like, I could feel them a little bit, but it was as if they just, like, stopped. Like, I couldn't generate sensations or symptoms. So I was like, this is so weird. And then like we were able to go down to the lounge area, and it was like a club bar situation. Like it was dark, it was loud, it was, like it was like a bunch of people, huge crowds. And my cousin and my mom had great seats. They had lower level seats, so we got to go down there for a little bit and hang out and get their vantage point, and it was like crazy good. Like they were right there close to the floor, so we got to do that. And I was just like amazed, and I was just like patting my nervous system and my brain on the back almost, so to speak, because I was like, oh my god, this really shows me how much work, quote unquote, has gone into this healing journey, and how much I've leveraged, because I spent the last 3 years really subjecting myself into like the most uncomfortable situations, right? Travel is uncomfortable. Being in restaurants is uncomfortable. Walking through theme parks is uncomfortable. But I've done that through this 3+ year journey. So I felt like this time my nervous system, one, I had leverage, so it knew that it would be fine, and I would be fine because I had primed it with previous situations before. Like, I think, what does Helmut call them? Like turbo exposures, right? Like, use really high intensity events, and you just like get in there, you go in the trenches, and you just kind of suffer well through it, reacting well to the symptoms and still trying to have a good time. But this time in particular was really gratifying, because I was like, oh, okay, I'm really feeling how resilient I have built my nervous system to become at this point, to have like little to no symptoms in this really, really highly stimulating environment, right? And then, there's the game, people are cheering. I almost lost my voice, we're screaming. As a side note, we need Curry to come back, because, oh my god, I don't know why. The Warriors can't, they're struggling here. But so anyway, and I think, okay, so scattered, but so I think this just shows me how much you don't really know how much progress you're really making until you just keep continuing to subject yourself to uncomfortable situations. And like, this really showed me that the state of my nervous system it's become really resilient. Another thing is, I'm realizing, I think a second reason why the symptoms really just kind of disappeared was that I was doing something that I did not have to plan. I didn't have to, my mom brain that always wants to think about every little thing, every detail, is always taking care of people. I didn't have to, that brain was shut off. I could just receive the experience, and I could just receive the joy. And the fun, it was so fun. I forgot what it's like to just fully be invited to something that I didn't have to plan. I didn't have to worry about a ride situation. I didn't have to worry about, money, like finances. I wasn't thinking about that, how much we were spending, or because I wasn't planning. I wasn't the planner. I wasn't the person hosting for once, and I didn't have kids to like take care of or to have to worry about. And I just felt like the old Leanne. I just felt like me again. So that was really, really nice. And then of course I was with my family, who they're safe people to me. And of course, seeing, beloved family from Hawaii, where I'm from, and hanging out with them even just for a little bit, was just so like great for my heart and my mind and my whole body, apparently. It was really fun, even though they lost. Warriors, even though they lost, but hopefully they get it back together game 5. Hopefully Curry comes back game 5. Steph Curry. We hung out outside of Chase Center for a long time. I don't think we started leaving. We didn't leave until after 11. We got to my in-laws at like 12. After 12 midnight, we picked up my daughter, because the boys could sleep there at my in-laws, but we picked up my daughter because she's always looking for me, in the middle of the night. I didn't want them to, I didn't want her to wake up my in-laws in the middle of the night. We picked her up, came home. I couldn't, I was so jazzed and just so happy, so I couldn't sleep until 1:30, and then I had to get up this morning at 7 to go get my kids and bring them to school. So I can feel how tired I am, and I feel the symptoms and everything, but just the fact that I had little to no symptoms last night shows me, again, it's reassurance. This is just a brain thing. And I think part of healing is, like a big part of it now, I know, is to do things for you. You know, to go do fun things that if you ask yourself a question, hey, Leanne, if you didn't have any of these symptoms, would you go to game 4 of the NBA playoffs? Absolutely, 100%. So that's what I led with, because I'm like, this journey is all about returning to yourself, returning to you, your authentic self. And so I was like, regardless of the symptoms are there or not, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna force myself to go, and we're just gonna have to deal with it. And thankfully, my nervous system and my brain were very, very happy that I made that decision, because we had a blast. We had a blast. Towards the end of the night, my legs were tired and they were aching, but it was just so incredible and so fun and such a wonderful invitation opportunity that it was like, whatever, you know, like, all right, cool. It was all good. And it was funny because even my mom, like, she was complaining about her legs too, and I was like, oh, see, it's just normal. Oh, and then I was like triggered left and right. Like we were walking around the Chase Center, and there was this guy being, you know, rolled on the stretcher. I don't know, he had like a medical emergency or whatever. So that was triggering for me. But I just followed what Sam and Helmet always say. I was like, just allow the fear, allow the trigger, acknowledge it. And I was just like, all right, Leanne. Yep. Seeing him roll on the stretcher with the EMT people, I was like, okay, I'm feeling triggered. I'm feeling fearful. The fear's coming up. You can be here. It's fine. And that's just the attitude I took with me going to this game. And it really served me well. And a lot of the groups that I've been a part of, I'm finding that a lot of people are running into this, where they're so used to pattern interrupting, right? An uncomfortable sensation or thought. Like, that's a big part of brain retraining, right? Is to pattern interrupt. But I'm finding that they are finding themselves stuck and frustrated. So I really think that Helmet and Sam's stance on symptoms, where you literally just allow everything, allow it, let it be there, and just like be okay with it, invite it in, sit in it, embrace it. It really does wonders. I really think this is the way. Surrender is the way. And I think this is something that is a habit that has to be developed through this journey. So all this to say, if you get a wild opportunity where if you ask yourself, hey, would you do this or would you go to this if you didn't have symptoms? And if your answer is yes, odds are you probably should go do it or go to it, whatever it is, and just allow whatever comes up and just trust your body, trust your brain, because you know that all these sensations, even though it feels so horrible, they're not dangerous. And that's the number one thing. They're not dangerous, and you're fine. You're safe in and of yourself. And it's just, a lot of this is just learning how to get out of the way and just let the body do its thing, let the symptoms do its thing. And there you have it. So I know yesterday was probably really, really stimulating for me. So I am going to take it easy today. But I'm not like in bed, I'm not in the couch or anything. I just know that that was a lot, even for a regulated person. So, and I had to wake up early to go, you know, take my kids to school and all that stuff. So yeah, so I'm just gonna chill and just do little things here and there, and I pulled weeds this morning too, just like for half an hour. I pulled weeds. I came home from dropping the boys off from school. I was like, oh, I can pull a little bit of weeds. And that was really, like, that helped to discharge all this adrenaline energy from last night too. So that was really soothing as well. And so, yeah, and then I just hopped in the shower, so my hair's still wet. So yeah, you can do tough things that sound crazy. And I find that usually if I committed to an event and I'm super symptomatic before it, I already know that if I just allow the symptoms to be there prior to the event, and then when I go to the event, they tend to calm down a lot. It's all just like anxiety, you know, it's all the overthinking that just needs to dispel and discharge from the body and the mind. So with that, go Warriors. Let's do game 5. Let's close up this series. And I wish you guys a great week whenever you're watching this. And I'll see you soon.
It's okay. Game 5. Game 5. We'll get them next time. Game 5.